Alrighty, good morning. Welcome back. How's everyone doing? Big day. Big day. The beginning of tech earnings. Should be an interesting next few weeks for sure. Welcome back. Finally becoming profitable. Nice job, Edgar. Well done, man. Keep it up. Journey never ends. The journey never ends. Morning, Chef. I appreciate that, Larry. Vince Peralta. Good morning, Vicente. Good morning to you, Vicente. How we doing? All right. Wait a few minutes. Get some people to jump in. Some interesting levels today. Big level. NASDAQ, big level NASDAQ. Approaching important level ES. Some big stuff coming up for sure. What's my average on NVIDIA? My average, I have two different positions in NVIDIA. My average in my E-Trade account is like 141, I think. And my average in my M1 account, it's a little higher. I guess we'll kill some time by looking at that right now. I can't let you guys see my login. Let me switch. Let me wait for that. Here's my average in my M1 account. So that's year to date. 32,000, 71% year to date. Wild. NVIDIA, I have 28 shares in here at 192. That's this average in this account. So that's pretty good. Yeah. I've been buying those Snap shares as I talked about. I have 144 shares at 13. Netflix. I should have bought more Netflix, man. I should have bought more Netflix. I have 16 shares at 309. Should have bought like 100 shares at 309. Obviously. Obviously, the problem now is you wish you bought more, right? Yeah. Yep. That's that. Crossed the 100,000 yesterday. So really happy about that between two accounts in here. Why does that keep doing that? So long-term investing, man. It's paid off. It's paid off. So I hope you guys took advantage of some of that last year opportunity. Definitely some nice stuff. All right. Let's get started. Welcome back, guys. Press that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Today, we have some important NQES levels to watch out for. Obviously, the market has been in straight upside mode and can very well continue today again. We have Tesla, Netflix earnings, which are going to be very important for the market. That is going to be our next major catalyst. I want to talk about, I don't know if I want to talk about it now or talk about it later. Maybe I'll talk about it later. I have is it phenomenon or phenomena? Phenomenon? I think it's phenomenon. Is that how you say it? Phenomenon. There's this like trading phenomenon that I believe is valid during these times in the market when we're just sort of going up. I'll talk about it at the end of the stream. It's an interesting concept. I talked about it with a few people, and I think it's very true. So we'll wait for that. We'll get into the technicals. We'll get into everything. Guys, be careful on Carvana. I will say this. You pay attention to what they released. Carvana released a $1 billion offering after their earnings. So if you guys are not familiar with what that means, is they're basically diluting their shares to... It's smart for the company, right? You can't really take much away from the company. Carvana needs cash, right? They need cash. They need to be able to stay alive. So they are diluting their shares. They're selling shares, really, they're increasing the common shares. I believe that's what they're doing, to get cash, right? They're doing an offering. So make sure you're aware of that before you start, yodeling into Carvana shares today or Carvana calls today. Just be cautious of that, right? Make sure you know the full picture. They did a $1 billion offering after earnings, okay? Make sure you're aware of that. That's a very big offering. All right, let's get started. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to the channel. Here we go. Let me change this real quick. Properties, browse. Change this to today's schedule. Here for this, we're just here for the schedule today. Futures, economic earnings calendar. Nothing really on the economic side today. Nothing at all. Housing starts, building permits at 8:30. I'm not even going to pull it up. Housing starts, building permits at 8:30. The big event, as we all know, is Netflix and Tesla earnings. Netflix and Tesla earnings. So right here. This morning, Goldman Sachs, I think they reported a loss, if I'm not mistaken. Let me check real quick just to make sure. They report, obviously not a loss, but revenue decline. Net revenues flat year over year. Wow, big EPS drop versus a year ago. Missed estimates on EPS. So a sales beat, EPS miss. So pretty much not really moving here right now. But yeah. So Goldman Sachs, ASML this morning. I haven't looked at that one yet. I'm going to take a look. Tesla, Netflix, obviously after hours is the big event, right? Big event, Tesla, Netflix earnings, that's the big one. United, IBM after hours as well. So that's today, right? That's today. And that is something you need to be aware of. What did ASML do? Not really moving yet. Did they release yet? Yeah, they released. So not really much on there yet. We'll keep an eye on that. But back to the schedule. I did not trade Microsoft yesterday, but we were calling that thing out all morning before the big pop. What an insane day on Microsoft. I mean, we were saying, I think, we said it in the live stream too, that Microsoft 343 retest. Man, I've yet to, I'm waiting for the day, right? I think we all want to be part of this one day. I'm waiting for the day that I get into a trade due to technicals, and then there's a news event, right? That's the best situation possible, right? If I got into Microsoft on that 343 retest that we were talking about in the live stream, and then that news came out, oh man, that would have been, I'm waiting for that day. It will come, but not yet. So congrats if anyone took Microsoft yesterday off that 343 and was able to participate in the vertical explosion off of that news. So today, Tesla, Netflix, we'll look at both of them. Apple double top, Google previous lows. Google a little bit weak. Netflix in that gap fill, right? That Netflix is in that gap fill. So it is right now it's in uncharted territory. So definitely could move today before earnings. AMD 116.50, NVIDIA 480. Two potential flags that look very nice for upside. Amazon and Shopify looking very interesting here. Both very correlated type stocks, and both could move out of these flags. Definitely watching these today. And then we'll talk about that Microsoft. I'm going to talk about Snapchat because this thing's holding a really interesting daily bull flag at 13. We'll look at, there's a few more I wanted to talk about today. Snow is an interesting one. So I'm going to try to get through all these as fast as I can. We'll take a look at those banks, Goldman Sachs. So let's just get started. We got a lot to look at. Amazon off that 131.50 was gorgeous. Congrats if you took that. That was another one we talked about. But let's first get into the futures. So your level today is very clear. All right, it's very clear here. It's 16,009, right? That is really your level that's rejecting here in the pre-market. You could sort of push it up towards that 16,030. I could just do this, 16,030, right? And you could have that zone right there. You could be cautious of that previous day high if you are going long here. So what I would like to see to be a long entry today, right, to be confident on longs, nice little break and hold over this 16,000 level, right? That's the key. The key for that long entry today is going to be the break and hold over 16,000. Yesterday, I mean, what a ridiculous 380 hold. I don't want to skip too quickly head to the Qs, but we absolutely just nailed this thing. QQQ 380 was our level, right? And that was the level day prior, right? We knew 380 was going to be important. What an insane 380 hold yesterday on the Qs. So congrats. I think that's probably the trade of the day in terms of just clean technical longs off of 380. If you went long off 380 yesterday in the Qs, absolutely beautiful trade. Probably the best trade of the day in terms of just clean analysis, clean entry points, right? Obviously, Microsoft probably gave you more profits, but that is a sick entry off 380 yesterday on the Qs. But anyways, that's also that that was also that 740 level that we were talking about on the NASDAQ. That was that 15,740 level. I don't have it here anymore because it's pretty far down there, but that was that 15,740 we talked about on the NASDAQ futures. So today, 16,000, right? That's going to be the one, right? The nice psych 16,000 level. We can see there's a little bit of trouble there here in the pre-market right now. Will we get a hold above that 16K today? That is going to be your sign, right? I would not short the market if we are above this pre-market low, right? Or if we are above this yesterday low here around this 15,945, right? We have seen those pre-market lows hold on and cause upside. So I would not be a short participant unless we are under this low here at 15,945 from yesterday. All right, so here's your little channel today. Very clear. If you get a break under this, right, then you can look for that downside. If you hold above this demand here, you could look for that dip buy opportunity, right? If you do something like this, you could look for that dip buy opportunity today off that 950. If you just rocket out of the gates over 16,000 and start to see a maintain a consolidation, then that could be your next sign for upside. You might want to be just a little bit cautious into that 16,030, right? You might want to be just a little bit cautious over that, into that 16,030. That's going to be big, right? You don't really want to be long here and then see that thing wick reject again. So if you want to stay cautious against that, then, just patiently wait that one out if you want to be on a little bit of a cautious side. But if you get that hold, right, if you get that hold over yesterday's highs, that's the money, that's the money hold. So look for that hold over previous day highs. That's pretty much what we've been doing. It's a very common theme. We break previous day highs, we hold it as support, and we push to the upside, right? Look at what we did here yesterday. Yesterday, the perfect hold over previous day highs right here. Look at the hold over previous day highs right there. Perfect break and hold over previous day highs. So you have upside, consolidation, break and hold over previous day highs. Upside, consolidation. Do you do the same thing today? Break and hold over previous day highs for another long entry, all right? You have to remember, if you missed this upside and you waited for the previous day high to hold, you still caught a sexy move here, right? This is still a gorgeous upside move here on the NASDAQ futures, even if you waited for that break and hold of previous day high. So there's nothing wrong with being patient here, right? If you do wait and you don't long it until the hold above previous day highs, don't feel like you're missing out. You're just getting that proper confirmation, right? You're getting that proper confirmation to make yourself feel more comfortable in the trade. So 16,030, that's that wick high from yesterday. That's your key watch today. I'm going to watch this whole zone between 16 and 16,030. It's about a 30-point range that I'm going to be cautious of. If you see any type of rejections off this level, just watch for some demand holds at that 945, 950 level on the QQQ. If you do see some type of downside today, maybe in anticipation of Tesla Netflix earnings, maybe there's a little bit of selling, maybe some risk off in tech, I would not be surprised to see something like that, right? If you see maybe some profit taking, maybe people don't want to be holding, too long into these earnings. They're questionable about what could happen, right? A little bit of a risk off type environment, which is very possible and very normal. It's not anything out of the norm. If you do see something like that, then look to see if you break this low, right? You break this low here and you move back into this double top around that 15,870. That would be your next, your next demand. If you see any type of downside, this would be your next demand down at 15,870. All right. So that's the NASDAQ. Let's go QQQ. Amazing, amazing hold at 380 yesterday. Sick. I mean, it's just textbook stuff. We can see right here, this is day over day, right? You saw on Monday of this week that 380 demand step up causing upside. You saw that aggressive pullback and a beautiful wick off that 380 yesterday causing upside. So that 380, that's your rock solid demand for now, right? That's definitely your rock solid demand. QQQ, we're just watching previous day highs. I have this up to 390. It's probably too large of a zone, to be quite honest. The reason I have this up to 390 is because of a video that I made yesterday. If I go over here and I push this 390 level over, let me push that back 1 second. 390, right? That was the high. Extend to the left, right? Why do I have this zone? Why do I have this supply at 390? Here's the reason right here. You can watch my video from yesterday if you want to get a full QQQ analysis here. But the reason I'm watching 390, right, is because of this little pivot right there, right? You have a pretty nasty rejection at 390 here, which was a previous support and a previous support. So 390 is definitely that potential target here on the Qs, right? This is that pivot rejection here back from January of 2022. That's really your only next important rejection point on the Qs. Before 390, it's really nothing. You're sort of just watching short-term price action. So if you get above, right, if you get above yesterday's highs, that's what I would be watching, right? If you get above, I'm putting this at 387 because I think that's the psych level. If you get above 387 on the Qs today, right, and you start to get that break and hold above previous day highs, and you start to get that NASDAQ run again, right, that probably could push us towards 390 today. That would be your ultimate target. This yesterday we moved about $7 a share on the Qs. We could definitely move another 3 today, right? If the market is to break and hold above yesterday's highs, that 390 could absolutely be the target that the QQQ is looking for today. So that 390, watch that. That's that big level above. That could be a little bit of a magnet here on the Qs if we get another strong day. Before we look for that 390, we need to get over previous day highs, right? That's your confirmation move. Over previous day highs, hold it as support. That would be your confirmation move towards 390. If you reject previous day highs today, right, if you see a little bit of rejection here, watch for the pullback into 385. 385 is this demand here. 385 could be this demand here, right? So 385, that's your demand below. If you break 385, right, that's where I think you move into that 383, right? So very clear levels here. You sort of just have to play them. Either rejection, there's a few opportunities today, right? Rejection of previous day high into 385, maybe a demand bounce at 385, right? Demand bounce off this 385 could be a really nice little morning slip and a demand hold, right? Little dip buying opportunity back at 385, very possible. The other option is just a rocket ship out of the gates, a break and retest of previous day highs for that rally into 390. And then the last possibility is the actual weakness under 385 for a pullback into that 383. All right, so few different opportunities. We have to stay open to all of them, but 387, 385, those are your two levels, right? That's what I would be watching today for that confirmation. ES. So, ES, you guys can see here, S&P 500 futures. It's a little bit tough to be long into 4,600, right? It's a little bit tough to be long into 4,600. So I'm not sure I'm going to. Here's what I'm thinking on the ES, right? I don't know if I want to be long over previous day highs on the ES personally, because then you are longing it right into 46, right? If you long over previous day highs on the ES, then you are longing it right into 4,600, which is a little bit tough, right? A little bit tough to mentally accept. So for me, if, you know, to feel like the S&P 500 has really nice strength today, I want to see it over 46, right? That's going to be the way I approach this today, right? Maybe not the right approach, but for me, that's my approach. I need to see us over 46 today because I don't really want to trade over yesterday's highs and then see a little 6-point move into the 46 and then a rejection here, right? That's something I don't want to get caught into. I don't want to be long here, right? And then see a 4,600 rejection. That's my concern. So I would rather be a little bit more patient, you know, maybe wait for that 46 to really hold. And then if we start to see this today, then I'll participate in that long there over 46. So watch out for that 46 today. I think it's going to be a big level. We can see it back on the daily chart. If you go back to my video yesterday, again, made a video about these levels on the ES. This 4,600 to 4,630 zone is pretty important, right? 4,630 here, 4,600 here, 4,630 rejections here. I know it's a little messy on the screen there, but that is going to be a big level there, that 4,600 to 4,630. So be careful up there, right? I know it's a big zone, but there is a lot of supply in this zone. If we get any type of pullback today, right? If we do get any type of pullback today, watch this low, this 45.80 low from yesterday. If you break that 45.80 low, right, if you do turn that into a rejection, that could be your move maybe for a pullback into this double top. This double top pullback would present some juicy longs in my opinion. All right, if you get a little, break and retest of this double top here, that could be a very nice little hold and curl back to the upside for that push back into 46, right? That could be really nice if we get that pullback, right? We really haven't gotten pullback entries, which has, and full transparency, right? My trading week has been, I don't want to call it shit, but it hasn't been that great. I've had a few green trades, some nice trades. I've had a little bit of hesitation at times because I love pullbacks, right? I love the pullback entries. I love the retest entries. And, when we get this, I find it hard. There was some longs off 450 yesterday on the SPY. There was that long off 380 on the Qs. So I did miss those. But I like a healthy pullback, man. A healthy pullback sort of gets my juices flowing for like a new long entry. So I am waiting for that, right? A little bit more. I'm being a little bit cautious, just continuing to, chase this rally to the upside. In the back of my head at the end of the day, right? The reason I'm like this is because I have a lot of long-term shares. So for better or for worse, right? Obviously, for YouTube, you think that I need to be making big trades to make content. I have the Discord community, which I do my best to trade live, right? That's at the end of the day, that is what I want to do, right? I want to be able to provide trading opportunities and trade live and make good trades, catch live trades, post it on YouTube, whatever, like the whole content creation thing. But at the end of the day, right, I focus more on my own personal financials. That's, at the end of the day, what I care about. My personal financials, my personal situation with, setting myself up for the future. And if I miss a day like yesterday with upside and make $2,000 on shares, I really don't. I'm pretty happy about that. So at the end of the day, the shares are what just soaks up this entire move. That's why I love having long-term shares, because I don't have that stress of having to catch it with options. If I don't catch it with options, I have the shares, right? And those are always there. They always have my back. And that's what I love about it. So I've missed, that upside yesterday, definitely. Does it hurt? Yeah, of course, a little bit. It hurts everyone that didn't miss it. But, right, we got those shares in the background. That's most important. So 45.80, 45.82, right? That's the big one, right? That's the big one. Keep an eye on that. If we hold that, right, that could be your next long entry today, right here at that previous low. Look for that right there today. If we break under that, that could be your little slippery action, maybe to give back some of this straight upside yesterday into that double top around 45.60. All right, so yesterday's highs and 4,600, I think, are your two zones to be monitoring today, right? 4,600 and 45.95 right here. So about this little 5-point area, 45.95, 4,600. Careful on that area, all right? SPY, pretty much the same story. Right here, right? SPY, 455, 454.85 from yesterday, right? That's your high. That's the level you're watching, right? You need to be a break and hold above that high to be long on the SPY, right? So if you didn't catch, right, here's a very good example of this, right? If you did not catch the longs off of 450 yesterday, right? If you didn't catch the longs in the morning off 450, right? Then where else could have you caught that long, right? The next long was above this high at that 451.40, right? Previous high. It's a little bit messy here, but that really was the previous high, 451.40. And then look at the 5-minute chart here, right? Your next long opportunity, if you missed that demand bounce, was the break and hold above previous day highs. That's why I continue to say that in this video, because it has been really that key spot for those new longs. So if you get that today, right, let's say you create that little 5-minute flag, right, one of these, right, let's say you create one of those, just drawing out a little flag here for you, right, let's say you create one of those little flags back into previous day highs, that is your sexy entry. So we'll see if we get that today. That would be your great entry on the longs, break and hold over previous day highs. That's around that 454.85. If you get stuck there, right, look for the pullback into that 453.70. That's your next demand right here. That's this low right here. That could be your low hold there today on the SPY as well. If you break under that previous low, right, if you break under this low here, that could be where you get some downside. I'd say you watch right here around this 453.20 from yesterday. Could be a little bit of dance right there. But I think if you break this low here, could get a little bit of maybe give back of some of that straight up from yesterday. So 453.70, 454.85. Watch this channel. We just watch to see which side of the channel it breaks. All right. Before we get into the stocks, I want to talk about that phenomenon I was talking about earlier. I think it's interesting. It's something I talked about with Larry. It's a guy that I talk to every day about the market. All of us here, right? Most all of us here watch the market every day, right? We're very in tune with what the market is doing, and we see the crazy run to the upside as of late. All right, we see the pretty much upside every day. We see the breakout that's occurring, right? We see this on the SPY, and to a cautious trader, right, someone that's really, being cautious, not just throwing money at the wall, are in our minds, at least for me personally, because I trade very cautiously. I don't just chase, right? I'm not just trying to make money hand over fist by. I'm okay if I don't make money on a single day. So I'm very cautious with how I trade. So when I see something like this, my inherent mindset, I guess for a lot of people, maybe not everyone, but for me at least, is to be cautious, continuing to trade upside, right? And it's the caution is, can this really continue? This move that we've seen is not very normal, right? When we've watched the market, when we watch it every day, we know that this upside is an extension of the norm, right? We know that because we trade every day. We watch the market every day. However, there is a lot of people, majority of people out there that don't watch the market every day. They know the market's up and they continue to buy it, right? They continue to buy it because it's that FOMO trade, right? The market's up. The market's getting better. I'm not really sure where the market is, but it's going up and I want to be in it. So I'm going to keep buying, right? We know as short-term traders, it's a little bit extended. But the people that are not watching it on a daily basis don't really care, right? They don't really care. They just know the market's in a better place. I want to continue to invest. I'm putting my 401k back in, right? There's a lot of money coming into the market right now that was on the sidelines. So the question is, does it really have to pull back, right? Does it really have to pull back? And this is where sometimes those short-term traders continue to try to look for those pullbacks because they think it needs to pull back. It may not have to, right? It may not have to because there is such a pent-up amount of money that could be potentially still coming into this market, right? That has not invested, that feels like they still need to be in it. That's sort of a phenomenon that I think happens a lot during these times in the market, right? And it's an interesting concept, right? It's something that you have to remember, right? There is a lot of money that's still on the sidelines, or at least is feeling like they're missing out on this. And it's not just retail traders, right? It is definitely not just retail traders. There are a lot of funds that are on the sidelines that have missed out on this upside. There's without a doubt, right? It's not just retail money. So an interesting, right? Yeah, good point. Your average Joe just sees a headline in the market going up every day. Correct, right? The average Joe still thinks, right, that this is fine, right? Let's keep buying the shit out of this, right? And that could go on much longer, even with us who watch every day know that it's a little extended, right? So interesting, right? An interesting concept. And that's why I buy every week. And that's why I buy stocks every week, so I don't need to make these decisions. I hate making these decisions with long-term investments. You have to be systematic. Buy stocks every week, no matter what the stock market's doing. You don't need to worry about making decisions. You just know that every week of your life, you're buying stocks, and as the market goes up, you're taking advantage of it, right? That's the beauty of it. So That's my little, that's, the little phenomenon that I've been thinking of, right? This market doesn't have to pull back. It doesn't have to pull back. You and me may think it needs to, right? Because we watch every day and we know that it's very extended. But, right, there is still a lot of money out there who doesn't really think it's extended. They're just buying it because they're thinking longer term and they want their 401ks back in, right? So, anyways, let's go back. Let's continue, right? Let's get back on track. Just wanted to talk about that. I've been talking about that with Larry a lot because he's a guy that just doesn't believe that we can go higher. And I'm like, Larry, you may not think that because you watch it every day, but there's still opportunity out there. So anyways, let's continue. Russell, 1973, right there. That's your retest level today on the Russell. 1973. You can see that previous high right there. Look for that retest today, right? Look for that retest at 1973. Right there, right? Right there, 1973. If you get that pullback today, that could be a nice little Russell retest. You could also look for it to hold this 1980 from yesterday. So here's your retest levels on the Russell, 1980, 1973. All right? Other YouTubers that have huge egos try to put it in a show, everyone talks about, hey man, I don't have an ego because I know an ego is going to make me lose money in the market, and I actually trade. So, I mean, that's really it, right? If I get an ego, I'm going to lose money in the market, and that's not going to work for me because I actually trade my own money, all right? So I don't have an ego. You guys know that. I'm very open with everything. I don't boast about things that I do. Every once in a while I'll celebrate my wins because everyone should do that. But I know, an ego goes down a bad rabbit hole, and that is not where you need to be. If you have an ego in the market, you are on the sure road to nothingness. All right. Dow Jones, big breakout yesterday, right? Big breakout on the Dow Jones. Mr. Mike Jones here. Yeah, your next level is like right here around this 35,250. 35,250 is your next level. You're almost at all-time highs, aren't you? Where's all-time highs? Yeah, you're pretty damn close, man. You're pretty damn close to all-time highs. Right here, that 35,250 is this weekly wick rejection right here. 35,228. 35,228. 35,228 is that wick high. Yeah, that's exactly where you rejected. All right, so that's a very key level. You can clearly see that, right? Where did the Dow reject yesterday? Let me put this demand down here because this is where that demand steps in. See this 35,230 rejection yesterday on the Dow, right? Why did it reject there, right? Why did it reject there? Weekly chart, look at this weekly wick rejection. The high of this week is 35,228 to be exact, right? 35,228. You guys can see 35,230, 2 points higher. So that's your level on the Dow, 35,230, big level there. Weekly chart, wick rejection from back in December of 2022. All right? So keep an eye on that. All right. Let's get into some stonks, baby. Stonks. Gotta love it. You guys remember this bull flag on Tesla? Anyone remember this? Remember that one? Yep. That's nice. That's real nice. What a bull flag on Tesla on the weekly. Holy hell. But that's long gone. All right. 15-minute. Oh, let's go 5-minute actually. Tesla earnings today, right? Let's just get out. Let's get the add to your schedule. Open the day with leave your ego at the door. Hashtag the schedule. I appreciate that, Jay. Jay Price, the GOAT. Let's get it out of the way. Be careful on earnings. I'm not going to baby you. I'm not going to tell you there's enough videos online explaining IV crush, explaining, gambling your money through earnings. I'm not going to get into that. You guys should know that by now. If you don't, you're going to probably rudely be awakened by it at some point in your trading career, and then you will stop doing it, right? We'll see what happens. We'll see if it, once in a while you get lucky with a nice little earnings pop, breaks the implied volatility, right? Beats the expected move. Probability definitely not in your favor. if you want to be along here, if you want to be trading for a long time, be careful of putting your, large percents of your portfolio in that money, right? So, in those types of plays. Tesla, earnings today, IV will be high. There might still be a play, right? There could be some opportunity here. Tesla is holding above previous day highs perfectly as we speak, right? Very, very interesting. So, yesterday's highs on Tesla, 295.26. 295.26. Yesterday's highs on Tesla. Look to see if that holds up, right? You guys can see right here, previous highs. Previous highs. Look at the hold yesterday, or in the pre-market actually, at previous day highs, right? Look at that hold at previous day highs in the pre-market here, right? Kinzoku, Mike Jones is a rapper. If it's not funny, then, seriously? 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 Is it that? All right. 295.27, right? Yesterday's highs. That's what you're watching today. Look at the hold that's coming in right now at 295.27. That is your very, very major watch here this morning. You guys can see right there, it is maintaining above that 295.27 as we speak. If it holds above that previous day high, that would be your next long opportunity for maybe a little pre-earnings run, right? It has to hold above that previous day high. I'm going to call it Daniel Jones from now on. That's right. So 295.27, previous day high. We've talked about this multiple times, right? That is your watch. Have to hold above that. As you guys see right now, as we speak, it is very nicely maintaining above that previous day high. Keep an eye on that. That's your watch. You break under that, things get a little bit fishy, a little bit questionable. That is going to be your major watch for that upside today. All right? Pretty easy, right? That's really the only trade I'm interested in today on Tesla. If it holds that previous day high, I'll look for that long. If it breaks back below it, I know things are going to get a little bit questionable, especially with earnings today. So if I see something clean, that's about the only trade I'm looking for. Netflix. Big time gap, right? Big time gap. It's in the gap, and there is absolutely some more opportunity here, right? You guys can see right here. 460, right? That was where that gap started. And then 507, that's where that gap ends, right? And yet this yellow zone, right? This yellow zone is the gap, right? You can see all right here, all right there. That's your gap fill. So you're in it right now. This is not one that I can really give you much insight on, right? Do you just rally through the gap today? Do you have a pullback because of earnings? It's a tough one to really give you any insight on, to be quite honest. If you're going to trade Netflix before earnings in a gap fill, that is probably the most wild, wild west you could ask for. So, I really can't give you any type of real good advice on this one. But the low here is 478.50 and 478.50. So I would watch like the 478.50 level here today. See if that does hold as some type of a support. I'm actually going to draw a green zone there within that. If I go to the 5-minute chart, you can see that 478.50 right around here. It's a nice little shade of yellow there with the yellow and green. Very interesting color there. 478.50 could be, right, the hold area on Netflix right here. This 478.50, that could be a little hold area intraday today. Why? If I go back to the daily chart, I will show you again why. Why do I have that level there? It's because of this. Extend that to the left, right? This area here on Netflix, look at all this demand that stepped up between like this 470 and 478.50. Right, this entire zone was a previous low, right? And I'm going to actually draw this over. Look at this entire zone on Netflix. 478.50 to 470, support, 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 support. Look at all that support there. And so if we draw this over, we are above that zone right now, right? You can see we're right above it. So if you hold here, right, if you hold here today, let's say you see something like this and you start to hold this zone, that could give you a little bit of insight for some short-term trades, right? Here's the next problem you're going to have. If you want to trade the gap fill, you are most likely going to have to hold it through earnings because there is a very high probability that maybe Netflix just fills the gap on earnings, right, and leaves us in the dust. That could very well be the problem that you have. The expected move on Netflix today is $36. So that is, it's like 7-8%, right? Tesla is $18. That's 6-7%. So both Netflix and Tesla pricing in about a 6-7% move. $36 from the current price would fill the gap on Netflix, right? $36. If Netflix beats or just meets the expected move, it will fill the gap on earnings, right? Very possible. Here's your other problem, right? Here's your other problem, sort of thinking through it all, right? If Netflix closes the day, let's say Netflix closes the day around 480, right, and gap fills on earnings, that will not give you enough upside to have calls increase in premium, right? The premium will still get IV crushed, right? So if, let's say you close the day around 480 today, you need it to be at 410, right? 516, right? For calls to appreciate. So you need it above the gap fill for calls to appreciate. So if you're just targeting that gap fill, be careful of that expected move, all right? Interesting day. I'm probably going to stay away from it, but that is a very interesting gap on Netflix. Keep an eye on that one. Watch that 480 level. I think that 480 level is going to be your key, all right? Apple. Interesting little double top here on Apple, but a really interesting hold, right? Look at this little break and retest here. Look at this little 192.50 previous high. Look at that hold the last 2 days. That is very intriguing to me, right? So you do have this double top here at 194.50. However, look at the hold day over day at these previous highs. That is bullish, right? There's nothing bearish about a previous high turning into a double top day over day. So, I'm sorry, a double bottom day over day. So if the NASDAQ strong today and Apple starts to get above this 194.50, I'm game, right? I'm game for this long for sure. This has been a really nice ride to the upside. I want to wait for that double top to break. I do have the confirmation of this demand below. You could look for the demand bounce off this level, right? That could be a trade. Just be a little bit careful of that 194.50. We can clearly see that triple top supply up there, but that is a really interesting break and retest of that 192.50. Watch for that 192.50 demand and watch for that 194.50 supply. Very clear little levels there. Google. So we'll see, right? This is obviously going to be dependent on the market today, right? If the market's strong, then I don't like this. If the market shows some weakness today, this will be the one I look for, right? You guys can see here, previous lows, previous lows, previous lows, rejection yesterday, big slip under the level 2. We talked about this one in the pre-market live stream. Watch to see what happens here at 124.50 today, right? 124.50 today, it looks like it's breaking right now, and with the market, the current strength in the market, I'd be a little bit cautious before shorting anything today, right? You really need to see weakness step in before taking new shorts here. It's an interesting low, right? It's definitely what's the word I'm looking for? It lines up with the strategy that I do look for. You know, obviously I need to understand the market that I'm in because the market I'm in is not weak. So you have to be a little bit cautious of that. But this is a very clean break and retest, you know, for a potential supply rejection. If I looked at this inversely, right, I think we would all say, right, this is a potential long entry, right? If we looked at this like this and we said, hey, this was a previous triple top, you know, we're coming back down into a previous triple top, maybe we can long it off this demand here, right? And a long off this demand, right, on the inverse of Google would technically be a short off this supply. However, the one thing that I think possibly makes this the wrong idea today is the market strength, right? Understanding that the market is very strong. NASDAQ could be another strong day. And if that happens, Google will not, right? Google will not reject this level. It will most likely try to regain this level, turn it into support, and then look for that 126 again. So all about 124.50 today on Google. I will be watching it for both sides. AMD, very interesting here. You guys know that we have been very much watching that 116.50 level on AMD, right? You know we've been watching that supply rejection over the last few weeks. Well, we can now say that AMD has turned a previous high into a pretty solid demand level. And if there is more upside on this market, right, I like where AMD is for a little sneaky comeback play, because AMD has not really performed that well. It's now holding above a very key previous low. You can see here, 116.50, 116.50, 116.50, 116.50, turned into rejections, and look at what it did yesterday. It turned it into a very solid support, right? Look at the support that stepped in this zone yesterday. So if AMD gets over this high around this 118.80, 119, I may look for this as a swing trade, right? This might be a swing trade opportunity for me on AMD. As long as it's over this demand here, this 115.50, 116.50, this dollar point range, I'm thinking AMD could have a comeback move here after a really nice pullback, aggressive pullback. I mean, you got stocks like NVIDIA that are just X amount percent over all-time highs. You got semiconductor strength. SMCI is on an absolute tear. Why not AMD, right? Why not AMD? Is this an opportunity here on AMD? I'm interested. I really am. Might be a swing trade that I take. 116.50, nice hold yesterday. That would be a very clean stop out level. Yeah, I like it. I'm definitely going to watch it today. It needs to get over this 118.80, and then it definitely needs to get over 122, right? Over 122, you're in the promised land. But it needs to get over this 118.80 first. All right? A little bit of an idea there. I'm interested for sure. NVIDIA, the monster, the thing that's going to make me retire is NVIDIA shares. 100 shares at 140. One day, I'll be telling my grandkids to go get me a beer because I own NVIDIA at $140. And then, post split, it's going to be like $5 post split. So that's my that's hopefully, I posted about that last year. I said, talk to me in 10 years when NVIDIA's at whatever. So couldn't be more happy with NVIDIA. This thing just really makes me wake up happy, to be quite honest. 480, that's your big level today. 480, right? 480 supply here, 480 supply yesterday. It's really like this 478. That's really where the wick rejections came in. Why NVIDIA, but not me? 478, right? 478, 479 to 480. You can clearly see some of those rejections that come in. I think 480 is the level you got to watch. Let's see if we can get over that 480, right? That's your key. Over 480 today, NVIDIA could squeeze for another push, right? It's all-time highs. Absolutely can squeeze over 480. Watch the move above that. You hold above 480. I like that upside. I would not short NVIDIA unless it gets under 470. I would not short NVIDIA unless it gets under 470. Do not short NVIDIA in this zone, right? Look for the longs over 480. You could, if you really want to be aggressive, you could look for the supply rejection. Oh, man. There's some characters, man. There's some characters out there. 480, that's the big level, right? Keep an eye on that. And if you get a rejection at 480, then watch out for maybe that 470 demand, all right? But that would be the nice break. Break and hold over 480 for upside. Keep an eye on that today. Amazon and shop flags. 4-hour chart Amazon. Damn, does this look sexy. Damn, you look sexy. Let's go to my house in the... What is that's the Will Smith song. Anyways, you don't want to hear my voice. Amazon 4-hour flag. I don't have much else to say. This just looks really good. This just looks really good on a 4-hour flag. Look at that 4-hour wick at the exact level that we had marked out yesterday. We had this exact level marked out. Look at that demand hold at 191 or 130, 130 yesterday. I know some of you guys caught this in the chat. We were, screaming this one out. AMD off that retest. I'm sorry, Amazon off that retest. This is an interesting flag. If you can get another NASDAQ upside, right? If Tesla and Netflix report positive earnings, which is a little bit of a gamble if you're going to swing this through, but if you have another catalyst to the upside on the NASDAQ, this is a very nice break and retest of previous highs. And if you guys pay attention to the live streams, you remember at these highs, we said there will be a retest. There is always a retest, right? There is always a retest. We said the same thing for SHOP. If you guys remember, we said at these highs, there will always be a retest of the breakout point. It is something the market will always do. It depends on whether you're patient or you feel like you have to chase moves. This is the patient entry here. Shopify break, retest, 4-hour flag of the breakout point at 66.50. Amazon is doing the exact same thing. Break, retest of the breakout point at 130, 130, right? The exact same thing. Oh, God. Oh, God. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it, man. Don't do it. Please. Oh, don't do it, AMD. Let me get in. All right. AMD's a watch today. AMD's a watch. All right. Last one I got for you. Damn it, man. That's going to be a nice one. Why did Microsoft rally yesterday? Of course, it was because of earnings, but look at this. Look at this break and retest, right? And if you guys are part of the chart Discord where I post everything that we talk about here on the live stream, you guys can be a part of this if you want. It's down below. It says Get Technicals. Here you go. All right. This is also in the main Discord community that we have the live trading in. But Microsoft yesterday, possible Microsoft retest of 343 here. If we see NQ strength and Microsoft can hold this key demand, I like this potential for a little flag breakout here towards 350 supply. There it was. Look at that sweet flag here into that 343 demand on Microsoft. Bam. 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 So, congrats on 343. Yeah. Congrats on that 343 hold. Big squeeze, right? Big squeeze off news, but also a really clean technical. Look for 358 today. Look for this 358. That's what I'd watch. 358 has to hold. All right? Got to get out of here. Live streams are getting a little long here. I'm here till 8:56. We can't even get 1,000 likes. Can we get 1,000 likes? Press that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Some really nice setups out there today. Very excited for some... Oh, man. AMD's really going, huh? Oh, it's really going. Why not me? Why AMD go up, not me? Oh, yeah. It's going. So, well, they heard us. So, AMD, watch this 122. 122. If you can get above 122, that would be your next entry. All right. Well, at least we got the shares. At least we got the shares, right? That's all we can be. We can be happy about the shares. Yeah. Yeah. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. Press that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Shout out Doc. Shout out Colt. Shout out Giants for being a terrible football team next year. Yeah. NVIDIA dumping. Really? Okay, not really. Some interesting stuff out there. Hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.